Okay. So I've just done like some final rounds of reminders, and hopefully we would have more people join us as we go ahead. I just realized that I didn't pause the automatic recording scene, so it's just been recording like all of the shenanigans since. But we typically record these sessions just so that, for instance, like today, maybe people are just coming back from work and they're not able to join. We'll post on our YouTube page, which I'm going to share in the chat, and people can always revisit to even whether people that are on here or people that were not able to join in the first instance. I see that Esther keeps going in and out. I'm guessing it's maybe a network issue. Hopefully she will be able to join us. So as the schedule says, like this is more like a conversation as title goes. It's really just a conversation with one person sharing their experience so far, and then the rest of us listen and ask questions, and essentially just interactive conversational, really. Sometimes we do have presentations, but I think Elizabeth really wants to keep it like really, really casual today. So we don't think like it's too much of a big deal. So I'll just start with the round of introductions. I would start with myself, then Adeyeri would go, and then Dr. Fowler, and if Esther joins before it gets to Elizabeth's turn, then she would introduce herself as well. Else we'll go to Elizabeth, and Elizabeth will just share with us briefly as stated here. In the introductions, we are really just saying, obviously, your name, what you do at the moment, and should I say the reason for joining this session and why, what you really hope to take out of it, as I think this would be able to guide our guest on how, like, what aspects of our story she really wants to share. Because, like, as with all of us, we have so many things like in our life journey or career journey, and we really want to ensure that whatever we're sharing is what is really useful. So starting with myself, as I usually do, I'm Olakumi Ogunyemi. I am a medical doctor. So I think one conundrum I've been having in recent times is, so at the moment I work as a doctor in the NHS, and I'm running a platform that talks about being a doctor without stethoscope. So sometimes I have this, shall I say, it's not, I don't know, just kind of this thing in my mind that is like, what exactly is this that you're doing? But the reason why this was started, which I started in 2020, is essentially because I've always had some non-clinical interest, and from medical school, finding information on how to explore all of those interests wasn't very available. And once I was able to start dipping my feet in non-clinical areas, I realized that there are actually so many people that are doing these things with their MBBS degrees, with their BDS degrees, with their MLS degrees, their pharmacy degrees. However, I think there's really no documentation of their journey so much. It's usually maybe just one person in one place doing something isolated. So decided to start this platform where we share career stories, essentially have conversations and share tips to help other people who may be looking to chat similar paths. And since 2020 that we've had this, I think one thing that has really stood out is the fact that everyone's journey is different, and there's also the fact that quite a number of people are looking for this guidance. So I think like there's just been quite some validation that yes, this is useful, and beyond just knowing that someone else has done this thing that you want to do and has been successful in it is quite validating. And also and okay, let me not go too much into, but that is essentially the reason why this platform was started. And yeah, my reason I've shared, and I've shared what I currently do. So I think the next person we mentioned was Adeyeri going up. So hi Adeyeri.
Hi. Um, sorry, I am a medical doctor who has had issues in finding work in the medical field in the UK. I've always had a passion for public health and decided to do my master's in public health. And I'm currently trying to find a pathway into working with public health in the UK and in the long term back in Nigeria.
All right, thanks, Adeyeri. So is Adeyeri your name or your son? Because I'm calling you Adeyeri.
Is my surname.
Oh, so can you pronounce your first name, please?
Ikepo.
Ikepo. Oh, Ikepo. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ikeoluapo.
Yeah, I just figured it out now. That's
Yes.
thanks,
Thank you.
Ikepo. Yeah. Dr. Fowler.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm stuck in traffic. You might hear some noise. So, well, I'm DG Fowler, a medical officer, and I'm based in Nigeria at the moment. And I have a flair for administrative, the administrative aspect of medical, and that's what I presently do. I serve as a team lead for one of the medical care groups in Lagos. And that's what I do for now. I still do basic clinical medicine, but I venture also into administrative, and that's been my flair actually. So that's basically all.
Yeah, thank you. Hi Esther. We noticed you've been going in and out a bit. So we're just doing some brief introductions. So are you able to unmute yourself and just tell us your name, what you do at the moment, and what you kind of hope to get out of this session?
Okay, good evening, everyone, and good evening, the host. My name is Dr. Adelopo Esther. I've been in clinical medicine for a while, and in the course of that, I've been thrust into administrative positions in different jobs. Also, I am passionate about public health education, meaning educating people, about their health and, myths and misconceptions. And so I run social media channels to cater to that. I've always been interested in alternative pathways in medicine because I think a lot of frustration that doctors have is because it just seems like there's just one pathway, especially in Nigeria. I'm specifically referring to Nigeria, and I'm hoping that by attending this, I also will be able to, even have clarity as to what the options are, and also by extension, someday be able to also bring along people that are coming down the line to that point where they are able to make other career decisions still within medicine, that would be fulfilling for them, not just clinical medicine.
All right, thanks a lot, Dr. Adelopo. So, yeah, over to you, Elizabeth. But sorry, just Elizabeth, just before you you speak, sorry. So just Dr. Adelopo, what you just mentioned about alternative career paths, I think just wanted to mention, like again, that's part of the reasons why this was started. And since started, we've actually had doctors in finance, doctors in software engineering, in health policy, in clinical research, in like quite a number in medical innovation, different fields, and like those opportunities do exist. As you said, though, like in Nigeria may be limited. However, like some of our guests have also been based in Nigeria and this opportunity. So I think you're in the right place at the moment. So over to you, Elizabeth.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Kumi. Thank you, everyone also for coming to this session. I actually feel very humbled because like knowing that we're all doctors here, and like normally it's mostly medical students or people that are coming into the field, but that we're all doctors already, it's really like humbling to be able to want to speak here about my experience. And I hope it will be useful to you all. So I think I meant to just say like background myself alone, not necessarily the whole story just yet, yeah. Okay, so my name is Elizabeth, and what's my former surname? My name is Elizabeth Olo Candy. I am a medical doctor, yes, by training, and I also work among other sectors, which I will get into as we go on with this program. I think for me, I had always known in regard, I would say always, I mean from like 300 level that I wanted to do something outside clinical medicine. So I had started that working pathway from then. So it did support my ability to transition and to find pathways. As Kumi mentioned before, it's not something that is just written on a book, like this is how you go about a career in public health or a career in medical education. It's not always so clear cut as compared to the traditional medical, clinical medicine routes. So I did have to find my own way, and with the help of my mentors as well, because even the mentors that I have are people that I found. Like, it wasn't just a case of people around me were doing it. No, they were no one was doing what I wanted to do. But looking for people that were doing what I wanted to do, I tried to just say, okay, what did you do about this section of your life, and ask them and then get advice. So yes, that is how I am here today, I guess. And I think after this small intro, I get to tell to you about it in a bit more detail. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. So while you were talking, we had two people join us. Mary and Lola, we're just doing some introductions just before we get on. So just maybe like 30 seconds each, starting with Lola. If you could just introduce yourself briefly and what you do at the moment and what you hope to get from this session. Hi, Lola. Okay, if Lola is not able to, okay, you're in a noisy place, no worries. Mary Akoyi, are you able to unmute?
Shade, why me? You did why me?
Can behave yourself in a public forum.
Can you please introduce yourself?
Please, we beg you. This guy is serious.
My name is Kemi. I'm so sorry, I didn't expect that.
Okay, you came was introducing themselves before you came on, so it's not as if
Okay, I'm so sorry. My plan was just to join and listen and learn and take notes. My name is Kemi anyways. Yeah, so I do a little bit of clinical medicine, a little bit of public health, a little bit of medical writing, and a little bit of a lot of other things. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Kemi. Kome and Timileyin, sorry, we're just introducing ourselves, and I think this will be the final introductions before Elizabeth just gets into it. So Kome, are you able to unmute? If not, just let us know in the chat. Okay, I think Kome is possibly not able to unmute. Timileyin, are you able to unmute yourself briefly for your introductions? All right, so it seems Kome and Simi are not in a place where they can unmute. So Elizabeth, back to you. We'll just get right into it.
All right. So I think where I'll start would be how I began. So I'm going to start from 300 level, all the way back to medical school. It wasn't that long ago. Let me just not make it look as if I'm that old. I'm not, please. But 300 level, I had a sporting accident in school, and I got taken to a state hospital to get fixed. Important background: I grew up in the UK, and I went to Nigeria for medical school. So this going to a state hospital was my first time in a health system, in the Nigerian health system, for real. Like, that wasn't something like a family clinic or something. It was a proper state hospital. So compared to the NHS, which I had known all my life, where we just walk in and you'll get your free treatment and go home, going to the treatment center and meeting people on the queue, bleeding out, not having money for cards. 500 naira was what they couldn't afford at that point in time. And then I got my X-ray done, came out the next day, I met them again in the same queue. I was really, shocked. I mean, from my experiences, from my personal experience, that was why. My big question was now, why is this happening? And that led to me asking. I had never done anything in public health at that point in time. I think by that time I was studying biochemistry, anatomy, all that stuff. So I hadn't done anything in public health, but I was like, what's the reason for why did people in this country have to experience this when as people in the UK don't experience it? What is the reason? So looking into that question, I literally just Googling and just finding what's happening about health systems and what's happening about what makes UK and Nigeria, that kind of thing, like very basic Googling. I found out about the WHO having a World Health Assembly. I found out about, I want to go to that assembly. I want to go find out who I can talk to see what we can do about it here. Me and my big dreams, massive. I mean, I'm talking 3 level, right? No idea about what's happening in the world at that point in time. But in my opinion, I thought if I can get to that place, I can find out what's happening and why it's not happening in Nigeria. So I found out that the IFMSA is the organization that was involved with WHO. So IFMSA, International Federation of Medical Students Association. Big long statement, but that is the IFMSA. I found out that they are a student body of medical students and that Nigeria was a member. Really, Nigeria was a member. So I went Googling their website, looking for how to link into them. And long story short, joined the IFMSA, became an executive member, and through that became works with the WHO. So this is 3 years story just being smashed into one. But of course, working in the IFMSA brought a lot of experience, project management, policy writing, you name it, anything to do with public health that you need to have, the skills you need to have. I gained it whilst in school in the IFMSA. Of course, for free. It was a job, it was work, a lot of traveling by them, but it was free work, but it still counted as experience, and it came in handy when I now left school. So as I said before, I had planned to go in public health from school. So now I finished school. After school, I did a lot of conferences before starting house job. House job was in Nigeria. I'm just matching. I mean, I had my Nigerian medical education there, so I thought to do the house job and then pack it up. So house job was in Nigeria. Even during house job, I met people doing conferences I had gone to during my years in the IFMSA. And through those conferences, I collect people's cards. I don't just take the card and put in I call, I email, I send my CV, I say what I'm interested in doing, I say what I think I can do to people's, it's all for free. Again, I was a student at that time, or a very young medical graduate, not yet a doctor, because I'm not working yet. So I was making a lot of connections in that regard. So through that, I was able to get, I would say an internship, because I wasn't getting paid, at an NGO in Nigeria. And so during my house job, they give you, in my own house job, they give you 1 week in between your postings. So in those 1 week gaps, I would go and work at the charity, again, for free, right? For free. But it counted as a year of experience because it was across a year. So although it was only for 1 week periods, blocks across 4 periods, it came across as a year of experience in public health in the NGO sector. So that was something I did, and that was just there on my CV. End of house job, my parents said, no, time to come back to the UK, and I got moved. I didn't do NYSC at all. I wanted to do NYSC. I wanted to, because I know people that, my mentor who was giving me advice about how to move around things, he was very like, NYSC the chance to shine and use your free time in quotes and your access to service, because it looks like a service to outsiders that are not Nigerian. It's a big deal. They see it as, wow, how Americans say, thank for your service to all their military people, right? That's how they envision NYSC outside the country. So if you do NYSC and you do things like maybe do a well, or you do a borehole, or you do anything that's what we think is just beans outside looks really appealing and really cements your interest in community or interest in public health. That's the case for me in that year. But of course, I didn't have that opportunity, so I came back home. But if anyone here is about about NYSC and you're not 100% sure about what you do otherwise, I would say you can gain a lot from it if you make the most of it. That said, I'm not saying go and suffer. I know that it's not easy beans. I'm not gonna pretend it's sweet. It's not easy, but I'm just thinking about what you can get out of it. So coming back to UK, I came back 2019. No exams written, nothing, not even IELTS. So I had to start doing things other than look for work I can do with my degree. That's not medicine, because I didn't have a GMC license. In the UK, you can't even say you're a doctor almost if you don't have the license. It feels as if And once you just say, okay, I'm a medical graduate, okay, they'll leave it there. But if you say more than that, next ask for your license number, and you can't, So I'll look for work. I was looking for work in admin. I wanted to just have something to do to pay for my exams, the IELTS, the PLAB 1, the PLAB 2, all that stuff. I was doing that. In the meantime, I was doing Prince 2. Prince 2 is a project management certification. So there's foundation and there's practitioner. I was doing it because, one, I wanted to find a good way to make money quickly, but two, because it was a certification that you can use to prove that you are able to project manage. I had been doing management for projects over this experience, IFMSA, NGOs, and all that time, but it wasn't on paper. So I could use the certificate to prove my experience in a sense, and also give people a reason to trust that I know what I'm doing. Aside that I have the, results from my previous employment. So I did that, and I'll suggest that to anyone that wants to work in public health in the UK, because Prince 2 is what we use here to affirm knowledge of project management. In America, they have Agile, they have other things that they use for, but in the UK, Prince 2 is what is still the first foremost project management certification that is respected and expected if you want to take a job in public health, because more often than not, your job in public health will require you to have some form of management of projects, be it management at a small scale or a whole like 6-month program, who knows, but it requires you to have project management. That aside now, so this is now, so that's what I was doing in that period whilst writing my exams, wrote the exam, did working in admin, just started working just to have something going. Got my degree, got my license happened by 2020. Now, and this is now, of course, COVID year. So my parents were not happy to practice, and I was living under the roof. So the rules were what I had to go with. So I looked for a job in the company that I had worked for free doing my house job, then or hiring, and they contacted me and they said that they'd like to work for them formally. Now I'm no longer an intern, I'm no longer a house officer, now I'm UK licensed doctor. So the levels, as I say, had changed. And so they will hire me to work as their partnerships, stakeholder engagement, and for the word, such a long title. Partnerships was the main role, right? So that was what I was doing remotely for this NGO that was based in Nigeria and Ghana, but had home office in the UK. So I wasn't working in a clinical capacity, but I was working from home, and I was able to count a lot of experience in the NGO sector, international NGO sector. And because of how highly placed the NGO is, it was the kind of place where I was talking to the WHO's Director General obviously on Zoom, but one-on-one kind of basis. So I'll do a lot of partnership work and learning about health at the international level, and what leads to the funds that goes out, and why do we decide to fund for TB and HIV and not care about schistosomiasis and trypanosomiasis? Like, what makes the differences in funding choices, and who are the people that move the what's it called, funding around healthcare. So that around public health, sorry. So that was something that I learned a lot from in that period, and how to manage engagement, how to manage high level people, because there's a way that someone that is controlling millions of dollars will expect you to speak to them, or to like let's say that, for example, like we had a partnership with okay, I can't say names. We had a partnership that we're working with, and because I knew that they had a lot of money to give us, but they were taking time to bring out the money, which they had signed on for. It was the kind of thing where you're emailing and you're sending out meetings and just keeping in contact. That whole skill of continually talking without talking. So you're talking about everything but the issue at hand. But at the same time, that contact will count in the grander scheme of things, that shows that, okay, these people are actually very stressed about this job, about this project we want to work on, and they then release the money. But that was something that I learned how to do engagement at that level, and it was quite it was very interesting. I appreciate the time that I spent there. So I spent a couple of, I think maybe like 8-9 months in that position. Then the water opened up again, so it was not able to try and do like clinical medicine and stuff. I wanted to keep in clinical medicine, not because I enjoy it. I don't enjoy it. But I was thinking about what if later on, what if I wanted to move somewhere else? And medicine is always a good safety net to have. So I wanted to keep on working just on the side, like a once or twice a month kind of thing, just to keep it active in case I should want to do something. So I was doing that for a little bit. And then I moved into public health at the local local authority. So local authority in the UK is equivalent to, I think, what we would say local government in Nigeria. So, but it's a bit higher. Let's say if local governments came together and they had like another level before states, that's about where local authorities sat. So I saw a role for public health program manager. I was just searching your job really. I just wanted to move from the foundation, and it was a role for managing obesity in a council area. So the area had second highest level of obesity in the whole of England, and they wanted to try and have wanted someone to manage their obesity program, and which is what I came on to do. I was the first doctor they've had on the team, and even what they saw in my CV, which I later found afterwards that they really cared about, was the fact that I had done Prince 2, the project management certification I told you about earlier. The fact that I had worked in project management before and I had evidence of it. So the work that I had done at the foundation, work I had done at IFMSA, all came into play into showing that they could trust that I could manage this project well. And I had done stakeholder engagement. So because I had to speak with many people across, in their obesity was across this, they had like 5 areas: children level, community level, healthcare level, schools, and one other I've forgotten now. But like, so I had to be to speak to stakeholders across different sectors. Oh yeah, housing, different sectors, and talk to them and make them to come to agreement on what we need to work together on obesity. So for example, with housing now, you would think, how can housing work with obesity? But what happens is I have to speak to contractors and negotiate with them to include green spaces in their housing areas so that they would allow the people that will live in that area to be able to play, the kids to play outside and not be confined to the building, so they can actually be active. So all the different parts of obesity beyond just food and exercise comes into play in terms of how you work with different stakeholders. They have to know how to handle each person, because of course people that are housing, they want to use every single inch of land they have to make money. So the more land they use to make the houses, the more money they'll make. If they take out land to do grass, they have lost that block of land, which will club in a whole lot of bits of flats. So negotiating with them that in the longer run, your picture, your image will be better if you agree to sacrifice this land, because you can be seen to be a green what's that thing called now? A green constructor, because they say green in the sense of like environmentally friendly constructor, and that will give you contracts going forward. So being able to find out these nuances that makes people to agree to work with you or to come to you, to compromise with you, are skills that you need to work in public health, which is what I had to actively gather whilst on the job and use and stuff like that. So that was what I did for a year. It was a year contract. And then I moved, and then I got married. And then I moved city altogether. I moved to the city. So moving to the city, it was a choice between, now, okay, I'll tell you about along the way. So there's something called public health training in the UK. I think there will be the same as the case in Nigeria. I think community medicine in Nigeria, but in public health training. It's a 5-year program. It includes a master's for the first year, and the other 4 years are for training. I had thought about applying for it actually, and it was a thing. One of my friends got in, and she was like, "How she's like the only Nigerian in the whole like cohort, as in the whole country. She's the only one." So I was like, it's a safe place, right? It's very white. It's very white. Okay, it's not somewhere that you can easily break into like from outside. Reasons being because the exam, for example, it uses the MSRA. MSRA is the like a open exam. No, it's not MSRA. It uses okay. Public health exam has 2 parts. So one part is based on public health knowledge, and other part is based on situation judgment test. They call it SJT. The SJT is formatted to the brain of the typical white person. So they can give you a question that says, your colleague has having an argument with another colleague about timeliness, something like that. And they give you like 5 options about what you should do. And among the answers would be things like, don't be involved in your business, or intervene, ask their side, that kind of thing. So the normal Nigerian person, why am I involved with their drama? I wouldn't select it. But the other person will go and say, oh, I want to hear both sides. So that mentality has to be on your head to be able to write that exam and pass it. And because it's a lifestyle, it's not an exam where you can put on someone else's behavior unless you know their behavior. So it then limits the number of people that come from that outside that that demographic, unfortunately. So yeah, that was one. So, and that was one. Two was the fact that it's 5 years, and that they have, I think they have like 60 spaces across the whole country. And of course, I already did my master's already. So the first year we should be masters. I'm already doing the master's. So it's not like, okay, it's not really making much sense. And the last reason why I didn't do it is because GP training and public health training, if you do public health training, you become a public health consultant. You can then work in different sectors of public health, mostly within the UK, but primarily in the UK. You can then add on skills to that 5 years to go and become a consultant outside the UK, like the WHO or the UN, that kind of thing. If you become a GP in 3 years, just if you do it straight, you have the exact same access as a public health consultant, but with less time. So, and of course, you'll be making money faster because you'll be at consultant level after 3 years compared to 5 years. And you are actually more positioned to do more things as a GP than a public health. Now, as a GP, you can be GP with special interest in public health. You can be GP with academic interest in public health. You can be GP with experience in portfolio, a portfolio GP, for example. So there's so many different things you can do from that section that allows you to do more things as a public health specialist than the public health specialist. So that was what made me think, I think I might be better off, even though I'm not the best. I don't enjoy this thing. I can do it part-time. I couldn't do public health part-time. So I could, because it's already 5 years. If you did it part-time, that's going to be like, sleeping there. So whereas GP, if I do it part-time, maybe before 5, it will now meet the 5 years I was avoiding. So, but I'll do more things in my life in the meantime. So that was what I had in mind. Coming to my new city now, I moved into, I was looking for something to do before GP coaching started in February. I meant 2 months ago. However, I saw this job about medical education, and the role offered is a fellowship. It offers a master's in medical education. It offers a chance to learn the medical education from this point of like formally, and then on the job. And of course, you have a day a week to do your thing of interest, your clinical area of interest. So I thought, okay, let me just do this in the meantime whilst I'm waiting to start training. But upon entering, I actually really enjoy it. And I found that medical education it's not anything like what we had seen in Nigeria. Like education in Nigeria is a different ball game. Like here, everything, there's nothing left to chance. There's nothing left to, I felt like, or there's nothing like left to, as they say, God in Nigeria, when they say, oh, AIDS, or you get kind of like, there's nothing like that here. There's so many processes that comes into place, and just learning about it from the hands-on side, from the assessor's side. Now I'm the one examining. Now I'm the one giving the assessing question. I'm the one checking through the questions that have been set before I came on, and it's been a different role altogether. And of course, getting another master that's been funded by the university has come in quite handy as well. So I get to see education properly, theoretically and then practically. So I have made an unplanned, but now happy to be pivot into medical education. And whilst I'm here, I work in public health as well. I work and teach on the public health masters here. So it is still in line with my long-term goal. My goal is still in front, to teach public health system particularly. But I think working in education has also given me more access to academia and writing papers. Like now here, we write papers regularly, we do presentations regularly. So that also comes into play in terms of if I choose to go the academic route into public health, I could go that way. So I didn't know this role existed. I didn't know that medical doctors did this job. It was a LinkedIn search. I was looking for a medical job. I put in LinkedIn, medical job, nothing up. And then it just came up among the jobs that were there. So I was like, well, who knew that this existed? And it looks fun. And I got it quite quickly. It was very quick turnover from application to recruitment. But yeah, I think that is a whistle-stop tour of my career from school till this point. And I hope that is clear. If there's nothing not clear, I have to ask my questions about it.
Okay. I think, thank you so much. It felt like I was just listening to a story, and like, it was really concise. And as you said, like all of this is like, I think 300 level must have been like maybe at least 6-7 years ago. So this is like stories of like 7 years compressed into, I think you did all of this in 20 minutes. So your presentation skills from your job are really, really come into play here. So I think one thing I think I noticed is how should I say interest transitioning kind of. So you never really plan to go into medical education, but somehow you're looking for a job and you're like, oh, let me just start this intern. And then you realize that, oh my God, I actually really like this. And even though you still have your health systems like vision in front, you're still okay with doing something that is away from that ultimate goal in the interim. And I think that's one thing that, I think most early career professionals, okay, let me use myself. I think that's one thing that I personally did not, realize early on, because so something similar also happened with me. So I also, like, prior to leaving Nigeria and also till now, I kind of still work in like research, clinical research. So I've always had this desire for research and all, but the clinical research, but like I remember my very first clinical research job, I was just like, I'm just doing this to pass time. And then I got my second research job and like, what exactly am I doing here? And then months down the line, I'm like, oh my God, I really, really like this thing. Meanwhile, like, it was never on my radar. Meanwhile, like, I think immediately after house job, like, I was so laser focused on, I want to work in a health economics role or health insurance role. And it was like, any other thing that I'm seeing, I don't want that. Like, and I think that's just one thing to realize, that yes, you may have like goals or setting plans. Like I said on one session I had recently, after house job, I seriously created like a 5-year plan. Like, I'll do NYC in this HMO, then after NYC, I'll go for master's 1 year, then I'll come back. This is already like almost 5 years post house job, and nothing on that plan like went according to the plan. But at the same time, I feel like I'm really enjoying like my career journey at the moment. So it's like, it may not go according to plan, but think like the core like values of just putting your best, efficiency, and all of that. So enough from me. So just throwing it back to everyone. I see we had quite a number of other people join us. So does anyone have any questions for Elizabeth? Any questions either regarding I know one question I know I would want to ask. Okay, I can see Peace, so let me just pause on my question. Hi, Peace, are you able to unmute to ask your question?
Yes, thank you very much. Hi, Elizabeth. How you doing?
Very well.
I just want to say that I'm here because I think you quoted this on the tail. Yes, I just quickly joined. Right, hi everybody. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to ask you a question. Not really a question, but like just put this out there just to hear your opinion, right? And before you say anything, I know that you might say, oh, I'm not one to give an opinion on this and stuff like that, but like I just really want to hear what you think. So I'm a medical doctor, finished my house job last year. Decided that I'm not going to do clinical medicine because I saw she did read that house job here. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that. So I'm currently in the UK now. I'm doing my master's in health management. And one of the reasons why I actually chose this path is because, during house job, some of the departments that I rotated through, I was like the SHO. So like I kind of like got like a kind of like, admin kind of thingy, So I was like, okay, you know what, I'm probably going to do this. So I think house job in July last year. Then in August, I volunteered somewhere in Abuja, just like quality improvement kind of thing. Like right after that.
Wait, just down.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I said last year, like I volunteered somewhere, like in a quality improvement department, health quality improvement department, and I functioned as like an administrator basically there. So that was actually the first time I heard about like close to exams, project management, rules like that. And I was like, oh, I think like this skill will come in handy because like I'm thinking of going into health management, right? So I did like a boot camp where I got like managed like a project, right? And I have that skill like in my bag, right? So now I'm doing my master's and I'm like, okay, most of the jobs in UK, they don't come and like, oh, project management, a manager kind of role, or like, just like, how you have like, for like a doctor, like sometimes you see roles, they say, oh, I'm looking for maybe like FI2 doctor, or I'm looking for like, it's very specific, right? But like in this field, it's like it's really not specific. Like you probably have to like check job descriptions and like things like that. It's really time consuming. So I was thinking of something. I was like, okay, since I'm still in school, do you think it's wise to like apply to like the NHS, like I don't know, maybe like an administrative role, just so that I have that kind of experience, or is it not necessary? Like, is it something that I can just do like once I'm done with school and like start applying and things like that?
Okay, yes. So thank you. First of all, congrats on how job and getting to masters in like the wish like a lot. Yes, so NHS has this scheme. I need to remember the name of it. I think it's leadership. It's a leadership scheme. It's a basically just look for it. NHS management scheme or NHS leadership scheme, something like that. But it's made for becoming an administrator in the NHS. And not admin as in secretary, as in admin as in top, as up there. So they have a scheme where they get young leaders and then they grow them into, and then they go, as in most people finish that scheme and stay in and go up. So I would definitely search for that scheme for you if I were yourself. I did look at it before. I'm not as keen into management as other people, so I didn't go for it. But I saw it before when I was looking for a job, so definitely. But regards like regular admin, I wouldn't suggest it because it's time consuming and it wouldn't add to you in terms of like experience. Like if you get admin job in NHS, it should be HR, like core HR, not sub level, because again, you have a high level degree, so you want to anchor onto that and not need to be doing something below your skill set, really, because then it will be a question of do you know I'm sure there will be a key for you. So definitely go for the scheme. NHS, I'm sure the name now. If I remember the name, I'll tell you. But I just searched up NHS leadership scheme or NHS management scheme, and it's like 2 years or 18 or something like that. And you can do it like not as a whole job, or it can be like part-time. Thank you so much, DWS. God bless you. Yeah, good. So yeah, you can do it. It's not like it's a full-time job, right? You can do it as well as being in school. You can start it ahead and start doing that, and then being in the scheme in itself. Of course, the network is amazing. My colleague here has did the scheme, so she did it before she came to this job, and she gained a lot of network and mentors and things like that. So it helps you to be able to choose a career in the management line quite well, because it's a very wide place. But if you have your credentials, you can definitely break in and just say, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I have to present the Prince 2. I have my project management. I have the experience I have a master's in health management. I mean, that's as high as it gets, bar PhD, but PhD is not a thing in our area. So you get like that you should do in that regards. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, PSC. So I think Ikekpo is the next person.
Okay, so my first question is your advice on SJT, situational judgment tests, and how to go around them, because the last time I did one, the score was very tear-jerking.
Believe me. So this is one resource. So literally only one single resource in the whole internet. And you know what, I'm gonna find the link and put in the link in the chat. But it is something that I would only suggest working and being among the Oyibo. Like that's is literally what you have to, because even TV can't teach you these things. It's something you have to be there and see how they rationalize things. The mindset is unique, because even them, they don't do it in real life, but they will do it when they know someone's watching them. So how you behave when they are being observed is what you need to pick up and carry on. So like, just write the exam and feel like a white person. Just think and say, okay, now I'm not Nigerian. Now I'm not Ekebo. Nope. Now I'm Christian. Now I'm Charlie. Charlie, I'm writing exam. Exactly. And say, okay, yes. In medical, thank you. But for the reason why she's asking is because it's not MSRA, it's not a medical test, it's a public health test. I need to find that link. I'll get it for you because it's somewhere in my phone somewhere. And then I'll put it in the chat for you. But let me just do it now so I don't forget. Hold up, just give me a second.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Emmy. Yeah, so I know that this SJT is also in the MSRA, but seems the public health one is a different one. because I think the
Okay.
SJT and MSRA, I've not done it, but I think it's maybe clinically related or something. I'm not sure. But thanks a lot for sharing.
Okay, yeah, I'm putting it. I just want to put the name. I want the name. I don't have the link, but just the name. Oh, sorry, I put it in the wrong place. Let me put it in the everyone. Job test. It's job test prep. Just search that name
Okay.
on Google, and you will find it's a purplish looking website. But yeah, it's something you should just keep on, and it does tell you corrections. But the thing is, it won't give you. The questions are not as aligned to the real thing, but it's just a matter of you a chance to think like what.
Like get the mindset.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, my next question is about tailoring applications, right? Because I've sent out, I think at this point it's reaching about almost 60 job applications, and I've only had one interview so far. How are we, for example, I think I mentioned earlier, I have a master's in public health now. How am I supposed to advertise myself? I don't have any project management qualifications. Right now, I can't afford it. So what advice can you give towards that?
Okay, so first of all, congrats on a master's. That is not easy for you. Regarding qualifications, so I would still say go for the free ones. I think Google offers a Google offers a project management. So just have free. Just like let that be there to be creative in a sense, but it just shows commitment to the area. So even if you don't go for the whole thing, you can say, like, even your application, you can still say Prince 2 in view. You don't have it yet, but you have planned to get it. So that in itself is
okay.
No, I should have this, and I am working towards it. Maybe for all they know, you're writing it tomorrow. You don't need to explain. That's
okay.
Regarding your CV, so I would make sure my CV is result oriented. So under each application, each experience you've had, like every work experience you have, even if it's house job, you say, I saw 500 patients every month in this outpatient department. And like you have to put numbers that make it very numeric based. They can use that. You can make a report, because everyone knows we in medicine know what we're doing in medicine, but outside of us, they don't quite picture what it is. And you have the advantage of having experience in Nigeria. You don't know what's going on there. So far, the concern, you say, wow, amazing, shocking. So picture it and paint it as beautiful. It is true. You actually work a lot. If you think about it, how many people?
I didn't work in Nigeria.
Oh, you work in Nigeria? Okay, wherever you worked, work a lot and put it into a results-based response. So I'm guessing you have done foundation years, have you?
I studied in Bulgaria, and my final year is the equivalent to foundation 1.
So whatever you rotate, I did write every single rotation, because that you have on your and that count towards the career you want to go into. The one you have to max it out. So if I was writing my CV when I was leaving med school and my CV now different. So in terms of like how I wrote my medical house officer, that time I was writing, I categorized, I gave everything. I know it's baseline, but I know that writing numerous skills, showing that I applied myself actively doing my jobs, is that. And that's on the medical side. On the public health side, that's my medical CV. That's the medical CV and I public health CV. Public health is where I'm focusing on my communication, on my team management, my leadership as a doctor. So I was the head of a team of X number of doctors, nurses, physiotherapists, occupational, whatever it is. I'm only the house officer, but at that point in time, I'm the team lead. When once I'm team lead. So talking about managing people's emotions, people's workload, be able to share people's work, be able to check on people and know that, okay, this person can handle this based on their strengths, giving people strength-based tasking, saying that, okay, I'm aware of my strengths as a leader, and I work with a democratic style or autocratic style. Know your leadership style and statement as well. So it just shows that, okay, you are aware of yourself, very aware of yourself, and your skill set is not something that you're wishy-washy about. So it gives that kind of picture of assurance of oneself. So whilst doctor is a doctor, but what does it mean for this company? So then also using their requirement, their job description requirement, and their personal to write your CV. Like if they say they want a driven person, they want someone that is self-initiative, show that your CV, show that, okay, I in your personal statement, they always write me. There's always like a not cover letter, like cover letter.
Supporting statement.
Yeah, that statement space.
Yeah.
Write to the person of the statement. Write to the person's specification, particularly. Right, using examples from your work experience. It may not always be the complete truth, but it can be close enough. It can be idealized. Okay, if they've asked for something like knows how to work on that one is beans. Okay, let's say team, working with diverse, you work in diverse setting, like culturally diverse. You can say you coach, you work in Bulgaria, you're Nigerian. That's already a starting point. I work in a country that's different to mine. I learned their culture. I learned how to respect their culture. I learned ask around what things they would I learned to pick the culture up and ask questions in a way that I will not ever cross lines that I didn't know existed because of cultural differences. So being able to say that you are aware of that line, that invisible line, it shows them that they can be sure that okay, you're safe to go on the team, but they don't have to worry that you are coming from a different background, but we don't have to worry about you being hard to match culturally, because that's the thing. They love to say, oh, we don't have a cultural fit, and it's just a line to say, don't match us, and we don't do. So to avoid that cultural fit, show like you have ability to mold when you go to different places. I think that would be it. Yeah, right to person certification. Put your results, your CV in a result-oriented fashion, and focus on skills, soft skills. Your communication, your presentations, PowerPoint, write PowerPoint, write these things, because you would think everyone, oh my God, many people don't have Excel skills, many people don't know anything. I'm not saying writing serious code. I'm just saying knowing that A1 is this book and this. Have it. So you should put it in as in bullet point your skills, and then make it easy to see this is her skills area, and then offer. If you have any awards as well, even if it's award of most punctual, most kind employee of the year, award section, put it there. Let it be.
Would they ever ask for like proof of these awards?
Very rarely. I've never had anyone ask me before. Never actually.
Okay. Then my next question is about like the finance thing you mentioned. Since I don't actually have experience in that, I have done a health education England course on it. How do I advertise these courses that I've done to top up my CV?
Yes, that's the texture. So okay, let me have a piece of a booklet. So this is your CV. So down up here, so your normal experiences, right? Your work experience. Okay, up here, effective, normal. Then experience. On this side, bullet points. So this is where you write skills. Up early, quickly. Easy for you. Below skills, write trainings, courses, education. So whilst I would say education, because that will then push give a timeline from medicine to masters, and then any other course you've done in a time chronological order. That one, of course, it tells them you've done courses, but it tells also that you are interested in continuous professional development.
Yeah.
They want that timeline progression that you're on doing nothing, looking for something. So put it in a very easy to find bullet point fashion, so you can just follow the eyes up and see, okay, this is proof that she is interested in this area truly, and she is actively improving on herself.
Then my last two questions. One is about volunteering. If one volunteers, is it important to look for public health oriented volunteering, or is just volunteering in itself a positive point?
Yeah, both are correct. Two things can be true. So if you work in public health, it's two things at once, right? So great, that's fantastic. That would be the goal. But even if it's working in a care home or working in something else that's not necessarily public health related, but it is still volunteering, it does the factor of you are committed to your community, and that community something that on this. People want to see, people here love to talk about, I take care of stray dogs in the park, or people have that one random may do, but it's meant to give you a human factor to yourself. It pictures you as a whole person beyond the person in the office. So if you can demonstrate your human factor on your piece of paper, which is your CV, it goes along. It does have points as itself, aside from being a show of interest in the area.
Okay, and then the final question, you've mentioned stakeholder engagement. I've seen that a lot on person specifications and job descriptions. You have to be able to I don't think I have stakeholder engagement. I don't know how to explain what it is. When I'm asked that question, I'm lost. how can I explain, based on like being a doctor and having the public health masters, that I have the ability to engage with internal and external stakeholders?
So a stakeholder, much as the word sounds so more than it is, it's really just much
Yeah.
right? Let's say in the doctor's case now, your patient is a stakeholder in his own management. Your patient's wife is a stakeholder in his care. Your nurse is a stakeholder. Everybody that's involved in that care is a stakeholder. So you can use
a dramatic word.
Truly, use a clinical picture to describe how you manage each stakeholder. So let's talk about the nurse. You partnered with her. You told her about your interest in regular observation of that patient because you were concerned about his welfare. That's the thing. So you know how to interfere, like how to relate to that person that will ensure that you do the job when you want her to do the job. Because, like now, for example, in NHS now, you can say to them, I have done every 4 hours, and they won't do it. They'll just forget about you. But if you know that this nurse and you have a rapport, which you can link on, because you always say hi to her, say her hair is fine. That is stakeholder engagement. You are engaging that stakeholder, which is the nurse.
I see.
You know that as I'm adding these compliments one by one over time, it increases the likelihood of me getting my jobs done when I need them done by this nurse. It's her job normally, but you're sure that it will happen because you guys have relationships. So you have how to build relationships with people that are involved in a project. So the project is the patient here now, but like now your relationship with each person, how you manage the wife of the patient, for example, maybe she cares about bringing him books in the evening, and you won't be on shift when she's gonna come for the book to bring the book. You can make sure that the nurse on shift will get the book. These are all plans. These are all like tiny nuanced actions, but they show that you're able to leverage on relationships with people to make things happen. So that's next. You can use that clinical example to exemplify that you are able to engage stakeholders by like being able to identify like what are the points between you that are common. What's that word for common things? Anyway, the word that I can't find the word right now, but the word for when me and you have something in common, and keep gaining strength with that relationship, so it becomes stronger. So you can then in future use that leverage to get things from that person or to meet them with that relationship. That's it. Okay. Just how to package, how to be a nice person, and using the nice person actively in a work sector. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yes, you've answered a lot of important questions for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth, and thanks, Ikekpo. I think I myself learned a lot from that. So I think just to confirm, I see Kemi has a hand up, but do we have any other person with any question? Just confirm if Kemi will be the last person, or if we have any additional questions. I don't think anybody on here should be shy, but if you're shy to talk, you can drop your questions in the chat as well. So over to you, Kemi.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Elizabeth, for the nice teaching. I kind of learned a lot. So my question is that I recently had an interview for a postgraduate medical education administrator position. And actually, as you've been talking, I kind of like noted some things. But at the end of the day, during the interview, it seemed like, it was going to be like a go. And later on, she called me and she was like, we're sorry, it's unsuccessful. So I was asking her for the feedback, and she was saying, you did well in the interview. It was just some areas in your background, really didn't get some things. And okay, so she was like, well, if I wanted the breakdown of the feedback, she could send it to my email. And I said, yeah, I would really appreciate that. Although she hasn't sent it, I'm talking about like yesterday. All this was like yesterday or the day before yesterday. So my question is that if someone is saying, it's a postgraduate medical education administrator role, it's not like clinical, it's more of admin. And under the specifications, although they were asking for all this NVQ, all those things, but I might not have I have a higher degree than what they need. And I kind of, is like what this job specification is like exactly what I'm doing currently in M1. That was actually why I applied to the job. It's a band 3 job, but I felt like I fit perfectly into what they're asking for. But my question is that concerning the background now, like what do you think would have been the issue? Because the way she said it, I couldn't really, I don't know. She said, oh, but it's just some things about your background. And I remember when they said, oh, talk about yourself, or have a medical degree. I recently completed my master's in public health. But I prefer, like medical education and the non-clinical field than the clinical field and all of those. What do you think could have been like trigger in the background? Is it because I'm Black? Anyways, where I am is a very racist place. But what do you think I could have said, or I could have?
First of all, was it a permanent role? Was it a contract role? What kind of role was it?
It's like a part-time job.
Was there a fixed timeline of part-time?
No fixed time or anything.
Yes. So, my dear, I hate to say to you, but you're overqualified. It's quite
it's a permanent role.
Yeah, exactly. So the role is the picture that she has said to me, from what you said to me now, you are too qualified for the job. And it's not a case of now why not? Because they're looking at the long term. You are a medical doctor, you have a master's, you have many other skills. You won't stay here. They need someone that will sit down here for the next 20 years. And that's the kind of job that people do. That people that have that when the job is only asking for NVQ level, that clientele, that person that they're looking for is someone that wants to sit down in the job for the next 20 years in that same role. No promotion, nothing. That is what they need for that job. So when they see someone that has the potential to do much more than what they're asking of that job, and they don't want to have to keep the cycle again in a very short period of time, because they imagine that you're a doctor, you maybe have an exam to do and you will leave soon, they're going to bounce you. This happened to me before. I applied for, I thought, but at least it makes sense, right? I mean, I have the opportunity, I have more than what you need, and I'm motivated, I want to do this job. And they told me that, quite frankly, we can't afford the recruitment cycle to happen again. We can't afford to lose you, basically. Like, if you come here and you stay here for maximum 1 year, and after this recruitment cycle again, the recruitment cycle is expensive. So that cost that they're trying to avoid by picking someone that they know will definitely just be happy here, never going to go anywhere till they retire, is something that you have to factor. It's a UK thing. It's something that I've experienced. I know because I've experienced it. I wouldn't have known this is a thing until, if it happened to me. So sorry, but there you go. You're more than that, unfortunately, and that means that you have to go for higher things. And if the job is not at least a degree level, if you don't ask for a degree, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea.
You see what?
If the job is not asking for a degree, it's not a good idea. In this UK, it's not a good idea. Because there's a person that they're looking at, and it's not you. They don't want to thrive. They don't want someone that has a big picture. No.
God, I beg you.
It is what it is. It's unfortunate, because you would think, okay, I can do this job, I can get experience and go up, right? That's what you would, but they don't want you to go sit down and just be there and fill the gap and let it be filled. They don't know it's filled. So that's why they would say, no, your background tells us that, girl, you got a lot more going for you than this my role here.
But they could have just said that though.
There's no people here, tea and biscuits, smiling. They will never direction. No,
just say, you know what? We just think you're overqualified. That's better than just saying my background. I'm thinking, is it because I trained in Nigeria or what? Are you being racist to me?
Qualified almost makes it look as if the job is not good enough or the job is low quality. They don't want to cost themselves out in the process now, but they're looking for somebody what they're looking for is almost an insult if they say that they are overqualified, because that means that I'm looking for somebody that has nowhere in, hasn't got vision in life. I want just to do this one thing and stay here forever. And that then, to say that directly to you would almost be as if you not see someone take the job, you're not thinking to your head, oh, look at you. That you like, so they don't want to be in that position at all. So you just say, flowery word around it, we just think. The person told me because he was like, he just told me off record, as he had left the interview room, I'm outside the street, now to me outside, girl, this is why. So it's not as if he told me in the when I asked him there and then what happened. He said, "Oh no, we don't think you're a match." How we told me in the room. Outside the room, you are overqualified. Okay, I'll just say I'm saying you 101. Don't quote me. That way, told you don't quote me. So it's like that. It's actually like that.
Okay.
Yeah. A
So
degree
what
of
do we do? Okay, so on volunteering now, and because so me, my own issue now is that I've moved to a place that is away from the world. So before I moved, unfortunately, I was applying for a lot of medical writing and all of those, and at some point, Springer Nature called back that they thought that my CV fitted their role for a their clinical content manager. But that was when I was moving from Northampton to Grimsby. So I told them that I'm moving, and it was like, to where? I said Grimsby. Grimsby is really far. It was like, Grimsby is far. That even if they said they should move me from the London office, because the jobs are like hybrid, I have to go to work maybe like 2 or 3 times in a week. To somewhere maybe Manchester. So they have I think they have about 3 physical offices, one in London, one in Manchester, one in Chester. It was like, Manchester is still about 4 hours from where I am. That's a one-way trip. Is still about 4 hours. It's too much to be commuting that much within a week. So in this locality that I am now, I'm trying to just fit. What do you think about volunteering in the hospital, like in the trust here, or just looking for an organization that is around to volunteer with or intern with? Okay, so there are not so many things ongoing around here. That's the issue. So where do you think I should begin to look to? Should I just start with volunteering with the NHS themselves, like the trust, the hospitals around, or try to look for an organization? But the issue is the place is remote. There are not so many things ongoing, you understand?
What's your nearest? I know Grimsby. I don't know my uncle's lived there before. What's your nearest city?
City, maybe like Scunthorpe is not even a city. Scunthorpe is city. I think Sheffield.
Okay, yeah, Sheffield.
Sheffield.
So,
and Sheffield is still about 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah. So NHS volunteering, you can be many things. You can be a patient greeter, worker. They have many things they do for volunteer. But what would it do for you is the question. Like what?
Yeah, what would you do? That's the thing. Most of the things I'm seeing as coffee bringer, like just patients. I'm like, that's what I've been sitting in my house. I've been doing full house, right?
Because that's what I see when I was looking for when I was like in secondary school looking for an NHS experience. That was what I was seeing. So I had to deeply search for attachment. So what it would be more useful would be an attachment. But of course, that's not always the easiest thing to get. But it's still something to worth trying. Better than being a tea coffee bringer. There's nothing going to get from doing that. And in medical writing, is something you can still look for remote work. I will still be pushing for that. I mean, you do that. You were doing that for M1. So I think something you should continue to search for actively, like remote work. That because I mean, finger picking you tells you that. I mean, we know that's what's up. We know, and but everyone else here tells you that you're not playing. Your work is actually very, very profound and is worthy of being taken to other places. So still do. I would rather say stay at home, be the housewife, and search for your area.
The housewife has stand.
Oh my God. You have a lot, and it's proven. Like it's not even just I have random things. It's clearly there in the NHS. If you are going to work in NHS, go for admin. And I don't mean admin of volunteer. I mean admin like working in human resources or something that requires a level of degree. Having a degree job, holding job, you must take an NHS job.
But all those NVQ, I shouldn't just bother myself. All those band 2, band 3. Okay. No. At least come on, I have an insight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hope this helps.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Kemi. Thanks, Elizabeth. So just before I ask my final question, Tayo, I know you've put your hand down, but I saw your hand up before. Just want to confirm your hand
Oh
down.
yes, I was just going to, sorry about my voice is really terrible. But I was just going to say the same thing that Elizabeth has just told Kemi. And like when I had the job, the role she applied for, I was like, no, don't do that. Don't no, you don't have to do that. Not because it's below you, but because it's a waste of your time. It's just a waste of your time, except you want to do it without pay. You just want to go outside. Apart from that, it's not going to add anything to you. Number two is you're not just going to get it. And like she said, nobody has time to be doing if they employ you now and in the next 6 months you get a research assistant in one big school organization and you leave, they'll have to come through it again. So they're not stupid people. They know you're a big madam, basically. They're not going to be
Big madam.
honestly.
I'm tired of sitting
Nobody's
at
going
home,
to
man.
give you a
Tired.
band. I think you can look at public health roles, research assistant roles in some schools as well. I don't know. You can look at other things, research assistants. If you really, I joined very late, so I don't know what your background. I'm guessing you're a doctor as well. I met you at Kemi's house.
To be
I met you at Kemi's house.
yourself. Yeah, you make me.
Yeah, so if you're a doctor, I don't think you should do any band, anything. Personally, I did a band 6 role as a vaccinator. And the only reason they took me was because I applied for band 6. I'd applied for band 3, band 2, band 0, band 4, band 5. They didn't take me. It was all rejects. Then when I applied for a band 6, it took me. So that's to tell you that they won't give it to you. You just have to aim higher. Sorry for talking.
Oh, thank you so much. At least now I know that band 5 is the cutoff. Anything not band 5, I don't bother.
Even that 5 guns really 6.
And like now, let me just let me even cut it at 5.
All right, thanks, guys. So I think from all of that, like in the past few minutes, it's just that, yeah, like it may be a struggle to find some jobs, but like should I say we are higher? Like our degree, like at the end of the day, like this, despite you not wanting to work in the hospital setting, your degree is an MBBS. Like that already just sets you on, like, and that shows you that like you should just keep aiming as high as possible. You should just keep aiming as high as possible. And sometimes, yeah, there are sometimes when I actually like even apply for just like ridiculously high things where in my head I'm like, no, like you're overdoing it. But sometimes like just at least do. And then also as Elizabeth has said, like a lot of these things is just packaging. See how like she really broke down the stakeholder word. Like we see stakeholder engagement and it's like, oh my God, this big thing. Meanwhile, like really they're just saying like the people that are involved in this work, can you manage them? That's literally what stakeholder engagement is saying. But then if you don't understand all that lingo and all, you think it's something, well, it's major, but it's not out of reach.
Yeah.
All right. So I think just so if we don't have any other questions, I think the final thing I wanted to ask, which I think I'll just ask 2 things. No, it's one question and then you would do like a summary and would close out. So first question is, so you had mentioned about public health training as a residency program. And I know quite a number of people have asked me about that public health training, but unlike maybe things like GP training, IMT training, there's not a lot of information about it. You've mentioned one of the reasons is people score lower on the SJT. It's more of like a white dominated. There are very few slots nationwide and all of that. But can you just, shall I say, give a summary of the process, just in case anyone here is interested in maybe just trying and shooting their shot and seeing if they can potentially do it. And after that, if you can just like do a summary and I think we'll call it today.
Okay, yeah. So public health training in the UK, it's every year. It happens, of course, it's on the OREL, the same OREL that you apply for everything else. The same in public health is there as well. Beforehand, you need to have your GMC license. You need to have your foundation training completed. So for Nigerians, once you have that in-house job, you can just use that. For people in UK, F1, F2 complete, then you can use that. And then if you were not trained in the UK, you have the CREST form. So that's a certificate of readiness to enter specialty training form signed off by a consultant who has trained you or you have worked with in the last 3.5 years. So that person can then tick off your form that you can do basic things in medical what you should do in house job, basically. They can prove you can do it. They'll sign you off and they'll sign and they'll stamp their own name that yes, I also can affirm this. So that form plus your GMC plus your what's it called? Foundation training is what is your baseline expectation as a medical doctor applying, because you can apply as a doctor and you can apply as a non-doctor. Now there's no space, there's no slots for doctors, slot for them. It's just a route of application. So if you apply as doctor, you apply as non-doctor, it's not as if you will now go and tap into their own spaces. No, it's just so that there's different entry requirement for different people. For those applying as non-doctors, you need to have 60 months of a job in a training position, not really like publishing, but like a job that has a portfolio of your work, where you can then prove that you have experience in public health over 60 months. That's like 5 years, right? So it's a longer route to go that way. And your route, it can't just be, I worked here. It has to be that you had a supervisor who was affirming you, who was signing off your portfolio. So if you're doing projects, you're not marking your project you are doing, then it's not easy you can't prove your portfolio without it being dated to show that you're doing it. So yes, if you want to go that way, you have to start putting dates down from now, like from the first job you get into. But as most people here are doctors, I'm going to stick with the doctor route. So have your GMC, have your certificate of readiness, enter specialty training, CREST form, and your foundation training. They say that, other than that, they say this is the gray area, commitment to specialty. Now, as a society that has a master's as part of it, they're gonna fund you to the master's. It should mean that you shouldn't have to do masters before going in. But it tends to be that a lot of people that go for it already have the masters and they use that as their proof of readiness to enter. Because if you have masters, you can skip first year and go into the second year, you can do 4 years. So you're working against people that have masters already. So have that in mind. That does not mean you cannot go in without having any masters. People I know that entered just from foundation training straight into public health training. People that I know that successfully entered had ample experience in public health. So my friend that was working with me in the IFMSA, she was ahead. She was in it for about 2 more years before I entered. So she had 5 years experience for IFMSA compared to my 3 years, and she used those experiences to explain to get into public health basically. So that is something that you have to have a way to make your CB show that you have other things going for you. So if you have foundation training, for example, you go and do a public health placement for 4 months, that counts towards it. So she that as well. You can try and do that as well if you have that. If you don't have that, if you can work a public job in a clinical capacity, that would help you. So there are some public health teaching fellows that are in medical. They work in medicine, but they also do public health. That's the kind of job you can do to help you to get into the kind of role. So consider that kind of job, public health teaching fellow, public health clinical fellow. Look at that word frame. Just search on LinkedIn and see what's happening, what kind of roles are around. Because it's a common job, but it's not. If you don't know the words, you won't look for the words. So if you know, yeah, you'll find. If you don't know the words, you just be looking for a job. That is what they need. They want to see proof of interest in areas. So that could be doing WHO courses. That could be doing short, I think it's University of Washington that does these like leadership in medicine or healthcare, or those short 3-month courses, those certificates, they go in hand, becoming very handy. So using those kind of courses to prove again continued professional development in the area, doing things on Coursera, free courses, doing Harvard does it as well. Many schools give these free courses surprisingly in different healthcare areas, especially during the pandemic. People giving free information. So just doing courses and you do it in a timely, not all at the same time. Do it that you finish this one and that one comes. So it shows a progression of interest. So you're constantly learning, basically. So don't just do all at the same time, because it won't show what you need to show, which is a constant learning process, not just at one time. I blasted 5 courses, I think, because it's not the same thing. That's what you need to prove your continued professional development in public health And yeah, so if you get, after you get longlisted, you get to go and do the exam. The exam is public, 2 parts. So public health questions, and then the situation judgment test is done. It's just like the way the MSRA is done all over the country. You just go and enter center, write it on the computer. So the way to prepare for it, again, I put the thing in the group, in the chat. Job Test Prep is the website that people, the only website that has anything to do with this thing online. I'm hoping maybe by now, maybe people are put it on YouTube, maybe now, but as I, like the years ago that I tried this, there was nothing on YouTube, nothing anywhere else, just that one website, the whole country. But use that to try and practice it. I would suggest also working, like volunteering in a public health capacity in like, maybe like in the your local authority, for example, because you need to be there. You need to see how they're thinking and how they handle their meetings, and watch videos around these kind of things. There are videos on that website, Job Test Prep, that'll show you how they reason, how they rationalize things. So that would be a good place to start. But if you can see more things that are like that, it'll help you to get put on the hat of thinking to get in. Yeah, so if you get those 2 successfully, you will be invited for interview. Actually, I think post-COVID, they might not worry about, they stopped it after during COVID. They might not worry about, but during interviews, they ask you to do group sessions, and you have to show yourself as a leader, as a listener, show yourself as someone that knows that public health is a generalist career. You don't go there saying, I want to specialize in, no. You have to be very open to all the different areas of public health, and know that you know something can count everywhere. So know something in health protection, something in healthcare, public health, something in disease notification, like know something across all the different areas, and how much you would also know where to find info. So when you don't know anything, say that, I will read about this on this journal of medical or this journal for public health. You get that kind of thing. So you have to make sure you're going to either know or know where to know. That's what I would suggest. I think that rounds up the application. So that's good luck to all interested in that career.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Like, I think so you've actually said a lot. As I said, like this is recorded and will be posted shortly on the page, on our YouTube page, same name, Doctors Without Steths. And I'm sure like some of this information may be online, but then as Elizabeth has said, sometimes things are online, but because you don't even know what you're looking for, you probably would not be able to find it. So thanks a lot again for that summary. So just to close out, just drop some final words of wisdom for us, and then maybe any extra words for people that may be interested in training the future doctors of tomorrow and all of that. Yeah.
Hi. Yes. So I would say, well, I would say again, this role, this career that we're working towards is the type that you would do when you do, knowing that I'm making this role for myself. I'm making this path. It's not something that just comes upon me. So, oh, sorry, I'm going 1 minute. Just give me a moment. I'm looking to my house. I don't know how this happened.
So while we're waiting for Elizabeth to be back, does anyone have any additional words for us as well? Anything, even if it's maybe just a one-liner of something that like everybody that asked questions, I've said, oh, I'm taking this back, and oh, I found this. Just anybody, so I'm not just looking at my face. Back. But Elizabeth, sorry, someone wants to just give us a one-liner summary of what they've got sent just before.
Understand answering questions in the STAR format, because that was something I had to learn about from my interview, and I had never heard of it before. Thank you.
What formats did you call it?
STAR.
Oh, STAR, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Elizabeth, back to you.
Yes, that was a good point. STAR, very important. Situation, task, action, results. So always saying it so that they can see that you know how to. Let's say they ask you, tell me about a time you were crap at, or you were bad at something. you don't end it like, yeah, I was so bad. In fact, I'll tell you. No, you always go back. The result is that I learned from this process and I just, turn it around to a positive. So yeah, definitely put that in. But yeah, I think back to the final line, which I have to say very quickly because someone's outside, is know that this is a role you create for yourself. Know that it's a role that you have to imbibe the whole, it's me making my career, and there's no green line, there's no this is the way working needs, unfortunately. But you can just tell yourself that, okay, that's also a strength. It's also a chance for you to make a career and create a pathway somewhere behind you as well. I think that's something that I really key into is I benefit because people told me what they did and I got to pick up the things in their pathways that I could pick up myself. So do things for yourself, but also try your best to help people that come up behind, because we need more people here. Clearly, the issues are plenty. Like hearing at the beginning, I think what Esther was saying, how the reasoning about her leaving clinical medicine and how she wanted to work in it's exactly very similar to what I wanted to do my job as well. So we all have something that makes us to care about this thing. So try your best to support other people as you support yourself, and hopefully make this world a better place. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I think we've come to the end. I think we shot over our time by like 10 minutes, but I think it was really worth it. Thanks everyone for joining. Our YouTube page is Doctors Without Steths. This video, say within the next 48 to 72 hours, would have it up there. Thanks again, and have a lovely rest of your day and a lovely weekend.